Broadhead battle, baby.
All right, so Wayne and I got to the range, and we have a broadhead test we're gonna do. We're gonna test the durability and flight of these broadheads. We got some DirtNap gear, and we're shooting the Alphas today, which is a double bevel, and it's even sharpened on the backside with 2 bleeders. It's 125 grain. We're gonna shoot it through Wayne's Triax, shooting 29 inches and 65 pounds. So we're just gonna see the durability, shooting it through some steel plates. We're gonna shoot it through a wood plank we pulled off a pallet just to see how it holds up, the durability of the broadhead overall, and then the flight. And we're gonna show you a bunch of different shot angles just so you can see how strong these broadheads are. I think they're awesome.
I actually cut my finger on the backside of the broadhead yesterday, just touching it, messing around with it. So be careful touching these broadheads because they're super sharp. Like, no joke, dude. Sharpest broadheads I've ever seen. So we're gonna put them to the test, and hopefully the blades hold out. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is the bleeder blades. They're a little bit thin, but they're just bleeder blades, and that's kind of to be expected.
So these broadheads come out of Missouri. Tom is the owner of the company. Him and his wife and one other employee package and make all of these broadheads. So it's a small company and really funny. Go check out their website. That link is in the description down here. So check that out, and we're gonna go put these things to the test. I also have this single bevel right here. So it's a single bevel. Bevel's on the right side of the blade. The flight of my arrow, I thought was left in the air, but after watching some slow-mos, my arrows actually are spinning to the right versus the left. So that would work good for this. I have a straight fletch, so we're actually gonna test this too, not on my VAP TKOs because I don't wanna waste an arrow when we shoot at hard stuff, but we're gonna put it on Wayne's bow and try that as well.
So the thing with the single bevel is that if the bevel's on one side of the broadhead, you gotta make sure like your arrow, like it'll spin coming out of the bow, either left or right. So you gotta buy the bevel according to the spin, and you might actually need your fletchings to get helicaled. Realistically, a single bevel is going to be the deadlier broadhead. It'll kind of spin when it goes through that flesh, and when it hits the bone, like it should just pop that bone open, kind of like a grain on a piece of plywood. It'll just split it. We're going to shoot them and see if it's actually going to affect it that much. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Time to let some carbon fly.
First test is going to be an accuracy test. We're going to be shooting these into a 3D target, just see how they fly. And then after that, we're going to be shooting them into steel plating and a wooden board. That flew really good. I mean, I was only shooting 20 yards. We might move it back to like 40 or something later, but yeah, that was exactly where I was aiming. So that's a dead deer all day. I'll take that. It's a good size cut. So the blades held up fine after the first shot in the foam target. There's no scuffs, none of the blades are bent, so that's a good sign. At least that blade didn't blow off in the foam target, because I've had that happen before with some cheaper mechanical blades. I'm kind of really impressed with that. That flew really good, and we're gonna shoot a little bit farther yet, but yeah, that's awesome. He's shooting at 50 yards, we just shot at 20. 20 yards, it shot pretty good, not gonna lie, but at 50 yards, it's gonna give us a true test of how far I can actually shoot these heads, to where if I have to make a 70-yard shot on a muley or whatever going out west, then I can. So I'm gonna send it at 50.
So a single bevel flew a little better, huh?
It has been so far, yeah. As of right now, the single bevel's actually flying better than the double bevel out of my bow. I don't know. I'm not really sure why, but I don't really think it's my bow. I don't know. I don't know. We'll shoot a couple more rounds and see how it goes.
So Wayne shot my single bevel and his double bevel alphas out of his bow, and some arrows are spinning left. My single bevel with the right bevel was spinning left for him, and then his alpha was actually knuckleballing or spinning right. So I was wondering, I had that problem last year when I shot day 6, and it ended up being, you know, I was pissed and I messaged this Broadhead company like, oh, your stuff flies like crap. Not the case. I had to make sure my bow was micro-tuned with a bare shaft tune as well. So I made sure my stuff was bare shaft tuned and really good this year, and I just shot those twice. I shot his alpha, which I have right here, and then my single bevel, and they both flew like darts. So I'm gonna shoot these a couple more times on my VAP TKOs. The difference between mine and Waylan's arrow, I have 235 spine VAP TKOs and 50 grain outserts and 125 grain head. So my front of center is like 15%. And it's just a lot more than Wayland's, and I'm wondering if that helps with the tuning. But we're gonna shoot these a couple more times, and if they fly good out of my bow, we know it's not the Broadheads, it's the way you tune your bow, which is very important. Yes, so my Broadheads did fly good. I shot Wayland's alpha and the single bevel, and they flew like darts with my bow. Now, I have a heavier front of center than him, so it makes tuning easier and it's more forgiving. One pro above his setup. The other issue is, yeah, I really hurt people. I personally don't know how to tune bows. I've worked at Shields in archery department. I was not a bow tech. You have to knock tune, bare shaft tune, paper tuning, all that stuff goes into the bow. And if I could do it myself and Waylan and I knew what we were doing, it'd probably be a lot easier for us than complaining. Just make sure, if you're gonna shoot fixed blade broadheads, the number one thing, and I'm guilty of this, if they fly like crap after 30 yards, your first instinct is, oh, broadheads suck, company's trash, they make terrible product. Not true. All these broadheads will fly very, very well. These DirtNaps are flying awesome with my setup. You need to make sure that your bow is punching bullets. You gotta have it very well tuned. If you're shooting 2-inch expandables, stuff like that, you don't, yeah, it's always great to have your bow perfectly tuned, but if you're just like an average Joe and you're like, yeah, it shoots good enough, and they look like they fly straight, put a fixed head on and you're gonna watch your arrows fly all over the place. So make sure your bow is tuned.
Got some steel plates, and we're gonna double them up about this thick, and we're gonna see how well these broadheads hold up. All right, destruction test, baby, let's go. Not bad. We're gonna do 2 more shots out of the setup and see how the broadhead holds up after 3 shots, and then we're gonna go to the wood plank. It's done.
What's done?
Broadhead.
Really?
Yep.
Let me see it.
After 2 shots of the steel plating, the broadhead was a little bit looser after shooting it through the foam targets, I don't know, good 24 times or so. And then after 2 shots on the steel plating, the screw must have popped and the blades, everything's gone. The broadhead's done. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up that broadhead, and we're gonna switch to the single bevel, see how it does. So the thing about the double bevel compared to the single bevel is double bevel is gonna have more of a straighter cut going into whatever you're shooting, like it's just piercing through it. The single bevel, it spins when it goes through the air, so it'll kind of create this S cut going through the wound channel, which will help with bigger wound channel and a bigger blood trail in the end. And actually when you hit bone, it'll pop that bone and just keep going straight through. Compared to a double bevel, it'll kind of want to bounce off the bone a little bit, and it'll still go through, it'll do its job, but a single bevel is a better broadhead if you're trying to smack through bone and heavier plating, stuff like that. So
Like
it held really good. Like there's not even a ding on it. The tip got a little blunted, but not bad. It's not folding over or anything like that, like I thought it was gonna do. So I'm actually really impressed with the single bevel. I think the single bevel might be a little bit better than the alpha. I really do. really good looking cuts. Dude, I'm pretty impressed. The single bevel withstood the alpha. The alpha, I did dig it in the ground a couple times because my arrows knuckleballed out of my bow. So that might have had something to do with it, but I think this single bevel is more durable though, because there's something about that screw on the alpha that I think it will loosen up and it will break. Compared to this thing, I mean, I don't really see any flaws with it. So on the next test we're gonna do, we're gonna shoot it into a piece of wood and see how it withholds. Hopefully it blows right through that sucker. The single bevel did awesome with the wood. It split it like it was supposed to. The single bevel's designed to split bone or anything that's hard inside of a deer. So I think this broadhead will do the job. I think, dude, you have nothing to worry about buying this broadhead. It's a solid broadhead for the price. You can't bitch about it at all. I mean, I'm really impressed with these broadheads. Even the alpha, dude. The alpha flew awesome out of your bow. We did beat it up quite a bit before this test. So that might have had something to do with it. But I can't complain about this broadhead at all. It's split through a 2-inch piece of wood. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So you should be able to just blow through a shoulder blade or whatever if you do make a bad shot, to where you shouldn't have to worry about not finding your deer.
Top 2 takeaways from today. Make sure if you're shooting a fixed blade head that your bow is absolutely perfectly tuned. Other takeaway, get a DirtNap broadhead. Also, we're almost at 1,000. Hit that subscribe button right down here. We'll see you guys next time.